Back in 2010, when we bought our farmland, we were already interested in putting up loose hay. One of the easiest ways to do this is using a hay loader. Of course, you can't run down to your local Sears and order one of these. You usually have to find one and fix it up. Luckily for us, Stacy knew where to find one.
Growing up, I had no idea what a hay loader was. But when we decided to get a hay loader, I knew exactly where to find one. There was a hay loader sitting alongside US 395 just south of Chewelah, and I remembered it because I'd gone by it probably several hundred times riding on the milk truck with my dad.
For a couple $100 later, we were the proud owners of a circa 1942 John Deere A-306 combination Raker Bar loader that we purchased in 2011. This is the hay loader as we found it, and Stacy used his rigging experience and his love of ratchet straps to get this hay loader on the trailer. We borrowed a truck and trailer because we didn't even have a farm truck at that time. And with the sale area, we had to go very slow on the back roads, and actually pieces were falling off as I followed behind, and I had to stop and pick up a couple of pieces. We were quite a show for some of the neighbors as we drove by their houses. We did manage to make it to our farm and unload the hay loader successfully. We stored it in the center of our driveway and tarped it during the winter. In 2012, we built our pole barn and moved it under cover. Over the next couple of years, we sought out some parts and the owner's manual. The Eastern Washington Agricultural Museum in Pomeroy, Washington, actually restored a John Deere hay loader, and so we were able to go there and look at theirs, and they actually had two that we were able to get some parts from.
Once we decided to rebuild the hay loader in 2015, the first thing we wanted to look at was the mechanicals. It wouldn't make sense to go ahead and repaint it and make it look pretty if we didn't have a good working machine. Overall, it was in good condition, but there were a few broken castings. Luckily, we were able to get what we needed from the parts loaders from the museum in Pomeroy. The machine itself has a lot of moving parts, but it is pretty simple. The thing to remember is these machines came in a crate and were assembled on the farm. So we were just basically reverse engineering what we had to do to fix it. Once we knew it was mechanically sound, then we could go ahead and make it look pretty.
The first thing we had to do was remove all the wood pieces which were unsalvageable, but we were able to use them as patterns, and we were able to reuse the Raker Bar teeth. The next thing was to remove all surface rust and caked on grease. Stacy also removed the wheels so that it would be easier to paint the main structure and the wheels separately. We used Van Sickle Tractor Equipment Industrial Enamel for the primer and the top coat, and John Deere yellow and green, of course, for the hay loader. And we had to get in all the nooks and crannies, so we became intimately aware of everything on this hay loader. It really amazed us how much just the primer coat made it look a lot better. Stacy also went ahead and primed and painted the wheels. Now the real fun began as we got to put on the John Deere green. And of course, nothing is complete without decals. Even though we wanted the hay loader to look nice, we also needed to be functional. It's not meant to be in a museum, it's meant to work on our farm. The next part we're going to work on were the rungs. This is the part at the top of the hay loader that the Raker Bars ride up and down on. We were going to update it. Instead of using wood, we decided to use Intermediate Metal Conduit, IMC, sleeved with PVC electrical conduit that is UV stabilized. The IMC is held with cotter pins. This way, it is stronger and sturdier than the wood dowels, and it fit together instead of us having to find wood that we would have to whittle down to fill into the holes. We cut out new Raker bars from the best vertical grain clear Douglas fir that we had. They measured about 1 1/8 inch by 2 inch by 135 inches. We used an old Raker bar that we had to help determine the spacing of the Raker bar teeth. Then we hitched it up and took it for a short test drive.
It was late in the season when we did our test run, so we didn't have any good hay to test it with. All we had was some old moldy hay that got rained on that was still left in the swath. Our hay wagon wasn't quite complete either because we didn't have the racks on the front and back finished to help hold the hay in. But overall, given the conditions, I think we had an unparalleled success in the test of our hay loader.
After it is on the wagon, you can put it into a haystack or take it back to a barn and put it up in a hay mow.
We sure do look forward to putting loose hay up on the farm with our John Deere hay loader.
An article on rebuilding this hay loader was also in the Small Farmers Journal, Spring 2016, Volume 40, Issue 2.